Greetings to all of you. I want to talk about the upcoming solar eclipse on June 10th. This is following the lunar eclipse that we had on May 26th. This solar eclipse will be an annular eclipse, meaning that the alignment of the Earth and Moon and Sun is such that the Moon will be blocking the light of the Sun, but not completely. So there's a ring of fire around the edge. And it comes, a solar eclipse always comes at the time of a new moon. So this solar eclipse, as are all eclipses, is a wake-up call. It's asking us to look at what the meaning and message is of this eclipse. How is it trying to wake us up? This particular eclipse will come with the Sun and Moon at 19 degrees of Gemini, right next to Mercury. And where they're located in the sky is right between the horns of the bull in the constellation of Taurus. So how do we piece that together and get a sense of what the message is that the sky is giving us in this time? It's important to remember that Gemini, that sign, relates to how we process information, how we think about things, how we communicate. And the meaning of this eclipse is guiding us to look at how we are using our minds and to be more reflective, more conscious of our thoughts. This is a critical transition time on the planet, and I truly believe that these next few years between now and November 2024, when Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius fully, is a critical threshold point. It's a time where we as humanity have a choice to step into the new Aquarian paradigm, to step into a higher consciousness, or to cling to the paradigms of the past, to be caught in the destructive forms of the past in a way that we will then be on our own path of destruction. This is the choice point that we're in. And this eclipse is saying, wake up. Pay attention to your thoughts, to how you view things, to how you're processing information. And I think it's significant that this eclipse is not only the Sun and Moon next to Mercury, but squaring Neptune. That square with Neptune can manifest in a variety of ways. If we're not working that energy consciously, Neptune squaring the Sun and Moon and Mercury is getting caught in illusion and delusion. It can be about giving our power away and being influenced by something that is causing us to feel increasingly more disempowered and victimized and helpless and overwhelmed. At its highest level of consciousness, that Neptune energy resonates with the meaning of the Saros series that this eclipse is part of, which is the energy of opening to expanded consciousness, getting flashes of insight, increasing psychic gifts. It's a call, actually, to move into that higher state of consciousness that we as humans are profoundly capable of. But if we're not waking up and working with the message of this eclipse consciously, we are going to stay on a path that is about getting caught in the level of consensual reality, which right now is dominated by an excessive amount of information and disinformation. We get so flooded by information that we lose our capacity to discern what's true, what's real. We're also in a profound time, Uranus square Saturn, where there's a struggle between the energies that are guiding us to move into these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, and those who want to cling to power and control and the paradigms of the past, which are about hierarchy, domination, disconnection from nature, disconnection from each other, suppression of the sacred feminine. And those paradigms will lead to our ultimate destruction if we do not wake up. And this solar eclipse is saying, it's time to wake up. And when we open our awareness and remember our human capacity to move into these higher states of consciousness, we have the capability then of co-creating a radically new world. And that new world will be characterized by co-creative collaboration, honoring our interconnectedness, being a part of new forms of community that are generative, that are in alignment with the energies of nature, that are allowing us to transform with the earth into this new way of being. But again, we're in a profound time of struggle on the earth right now. And across this past year, we have seen in a profound way the dangers of staying in the paradigms of the past. We have been in a time that has been a global crisis, fostering fear. And when we get caught in fear, we get caught in, too often, giving our power over to those in authority who will tell us what we need to do to be safe. The irony of it is, so many of the policies and principles of the past year have not been about protecting people or about safety or about health. They've been about power and control. We need to wake up. How do we, in the midst of the global crisis that we've been in, how do we stay in balance? First of all, at the level of health, remember, if our bodies are in balance and in harmony, and we are in balance and harmony with nature, we are protected. Natural viruses, I'm not talking about lab-created viruses that are designed as bioweapons to have increased capacity to be destructive to humans. But natural viruses are a process of giving information to our bodies about changes happening in the environment to strengthen us. Viruses don't have any intention of trying to destroy us. They want to coexist with their hosts. And we as human beings are filled with viruses. We're made up of viruses. So it's again about how do we collaborate and be in balance and be in harmony. When we're in balance and harmony with nature and with our bodies, we have nothing to fear because we will be in a place of health. And let me say this, if this is a lab-created virus, and there's increasing evidence that that may be the case, we still can protect ourselves by taking the steps to protect and strengthen our immunity, and also to take the steps collectively to stop the use of pesticides that create toxins in the environment that allow any virus, lab-created or natural, to be more toxic in our systems. We can make those choices. We have actions that we can take to protect ourselves. And when we hold that higher level of consciousness and don't get caught in fear, we also are taking action to protect ourselves. But when we get caught in fear and we give our power away, then we look to technology, we look to something outside of us to protect us, to give us that sense of safety. And we end up actually getting caught in a pattern of increasing victimization and powerlessness, and are contributing and participating in a pattern of disconnection and destruction. I say this holding with compassion and respect that as we navigate these intense times, we each need to tune in to our own intuition, our own inner knowing, and do what feels in right alignment with our true selves. That's the key, and I think that's some of the wake-up call of this solar eclipse. It is saying, come back into alignment with your intuition, your true self, and use your discernment to guide you in what is right for you. And as you're sorting those issues through, I'd encourage you to look at, is this action that I'm taking, or this way of thinking, does it foster the paradigms of increased consciousness and the Aquarian age that we're moving into? Does it foster a respect for diversity and biodiversity? Does it create an increasing sense of interconnectedness with the natural environment and with everyone and everything around us? Does it foster a sense of justice and equity? Is it generative? Does it contribute to life? Or does it cause damage and destruction and disconnection from ourselves, from the natural world, from each other? Allow yourself to take that time to discern at a deeper level. What is the energy of this thought pattern? What is the energy of this action that I'm contemplating taking? Remember that at the time of this solar eclipse, we also are experiencing that powerful opposition of Pluto and Mars. At its highest level of consciousness, that is about aligning our actions and our will with divine will, with the will and consciousness of the cosmos. It then empowers us as we claim our true capacity to expand our consciousness and be a part of this consciousness of the cosmos. If not worked at that higher level, that Pluto-Mars opposition is about abuse of power. It is about destruction. It is about trauma. It is about violation of our human rights and violation of the sacredness of the life around us. This solar eclipse with the sun and moon in the horns of the bull, we can hold that in a variety of ways as well. If we are caught in the paradigms of this patriarchal period that we're being called to heal and move out of, if we hold that configuration in that old paradigm, the horns of the bull is about being caught in that energy of conflict, aggression. How do we use our power to assert our ability to conquer and have that sense of conquest, like the conquistadors killing the bulls? If we hold that image of the sun and moon between the horns of the bull in a way that's reweaving the wisdom of the sacred feminine with the wisdom of this time, then the horns of the bull are a reminder of the ancient deities who honored that sense of the cows and bulls as sacred and as symbolic of the life-giving energies of Mother Earth and of the cosmos. And then the horns of the bull are a symbol of the crescent moon in connection with the sun and our capacity to participate as co-creators of life on this planet and in this galaxy. This solar eclipse is a profound wake-up call, asking us to look at how we think, how we make decisions, how we are using our discernment and tuning into our intuition and moving towards this higher level of consciousness that we are capable of. Or it's calling us to reflect on how are we giving our power away? How are we caught in thought patterns in the collective consciousness that aren't about our safety, our health, our freedom, our empowerment, but are about domination, greed, control, destruction? We are in a struggle right now as we're transitioning from the third dimensional reality to the fifth dimension. We're in the mix of the fourth dimension, which is that realm of thought and emotions. And if we get caught in fear, if we give our power away, we will be controlled by those who know how to work with collective consciousness to disempower us, to hold and create a reality that is in their best interests and not in ours, and not in our evolutionary process, not in alignment with our capacity to move into a higher state of consciousness. If we hold the energy of hope, of unity consciousness, of rising above the storm, of not being caught in fear, of using our discernment, of attuning to whether the thoughts and actions and emotions that we're energizing in our lives are in tune with unity consciousness and love and justice and our interconnectedness with all that is and our understanding of the sacredness of all of life, then we are moving on that evolutionary path to the fifth dimension. This is the choice point that we're in. And it's up to each of us to make that choice as to where we put our energies, how we are conscious of our thoughts, our actions, our emotions, and whether we are energizing those destructive paradigms of the past or holding the seeds of that new consciousness that we're capable of and moving into that energy of love and unity consciousness to co-create a new world. May we support each other in this intense and stormy time to remember who we are and what we're capable of. Blessed be.